The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed
Hi, Chicago,
Fahim.
and welcome to the Lightning Strike. Mohammed Fahim in the studio today with my co-host, Congresswoman Marie Newman, and Ken DeLuke is under the weather, and John is going to be calling in. Now, if we want to talk to each other, folks, the number to call in is 773-763-9278. We also have Maria Muzaffar in the studio with us today, and she is going to be talking about some very, very serious stuff as far as legislation is concerned, what makes things happen in the legislatures and how to get things done in the political arena. Marie, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we got again a power-packed hour for you folks. We're going to talk about Jack Smith and what is happening with our former president. Again, the 165-page things.
Significant, very substantive.
Okay. And Trump is trying to, again, weasel out of things as usual. We're also going to talk about Liz Cheney campaigning with Harris, and is that going to be helpful or not for the Harris campaign? Where is the campaign heading? And why is Harris still equivocating, or whatever that word is? It's a big word, on condemning what is happening in the Middle East. I can't understand that, okay? We have constantly said, folks, on the air over here for the last few months now, about Netanyahu, the tail wagging the American dog, and still continuing to do it, and he's thumbing his nose at us every single week. And why are we taking it? And now it seems that America is getting involved personally now. Yeah. They are bombing the Houthis. Why are we wasting our taxpayer dollars on going out and killing people when our money is needed right over here with this hurricane that is happening?
Yeah.
So I can't understand that, folks. I mean, if you want to chime in, feel free to call in. The number 773-763-9278. This continued aggression is beyond me. We have Maria also in the studio today. She's going to be our co-host for the show. And she just got pulled in. Maria, what do you think? I mean, do you think that we should be spending taxpayer dollars on something like this?
I think the priority, if you asked anybody on the street in this country, is education, healthcare, public safety. And I think they all probably get a response from their local government and Congress that there's not enough money. So that's how I would respond to that question.
And that is crazy. Ken and John will be calling in, and I can see them on the screen. And Dylan, for some reason, has just walked away as usual. This guy is a slacker. Ken, good morning. Okay, see, now I can't hear him. Okay, so Dylan, if you could please get Ken and John to join the show. That way, okay, now Dylan decides to come back. Okay, so Ken, good morning.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you very well, sir.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Great.
And
things are going well.
And John, good morning, John.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Everybody's good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Where are you?
I'm up in Grand Rapids,
I'm in
Michigan.
beautiful downtown Frankfurt.
Okay. So, do you think it is a good use of our taxpayer dollars when we need money desperately? Another hurricane is coming in. Mm-hmm. Americans are hurting, and now we are spending all of this money. And by the way, Bibi came in the other day, and he took another $8.7 billion from us.
Yeah.
What the heck is happening, folks? Why are we letting this tail wag the dog? I mean, I can understand the pressure that AIPAC has on all our legislators. Murray, you said the other day, what?
Yeah.
85% of Congress is bought by...
85% of Congress receives AIPAC money in some form or fashion through an affiliate PAC. Yep. It's significant. And let's start with where we're at. So by definition, we are now in a regional war. And when I say we are because we're contributing to it, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we had a bunch of stage gates where we could have withheld weapons, withheld money, and really done some good work to prevent a regional war. Now, unfortunately, we have decided to not take those options, and now we are in this horrible position where it is a full-on regional war, depending on how Israel responds on this last round, and they will respond inappropriately, I guarantee you. And so now what do we do? It is harder to walk away from a regional war than it is a bilateral war. So we are in a real pickle now. And this was a very preventable problem. That doesn't mean that we can't still push hard. What I recommend the Harris campaign, as I look at the numbers in Michigan and Pennsylvania and other places, is that there are many issues, right, that are important to a lot of people. But being in a regional war is not popular with any section, any group of people, any organization. It's just not popular. So what I recommend is the Harris campaign really looks at this hard and take at least a quarter turn on this, at least.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of the Democratic Party leadership listening to the station and listening to the show every Sunday. So, folks, if you are leaders, step up, be leaders, okay? How long can you just sit on the fence and continue to protect your own seat by taking all this AIPAC money and not responding to what the American people are saying? And that is something which, John, as an American out there, what would you say, John?
Well, I think just a little bit of level setting. I think this is for me less a financial issue. While the money's important, it's really not a financial issue. It's a political and diplomatic problem. And I think Maria pointed to that we could have taken diplomatic steps and taken certain positions using the threat of withholding weapons and funding to get to a better political and diplomatic place than we are right now. But I just think it's important to not just focus on the money, because this is about, our relationships in the region, and negotiating with, a Trumpian dictator like Netanyahu, who's not going to really respond to anything we do. I think he has been very clear that he's going to move forward with this. So we know what that side's going to do, and we need to have diplomatic answers that take that to heart and stop ignoring the fact that Netanyahu is protecting his own hide as much as he is trying to execute against a plan that gives Israel dominance over the region.
John, again, my question that I keep on coming up with this. Every time something happens, Biden comes in with this, we are going to hold him accountable. Here's the red line. Here's the red line. How many red lines can this guy draw, man? Is he running out of ink or not?
Yeah, and that's where he's not credible on this to negotiate. And that's where we need to get to the next presidency. And Harris needs to put some things forward to say, we're going to take a different direction in this administration. But I also think it's important to hear what the alternative is saying about that. And we do have a clip, if we want to play it, if Dylan has it queued up, of what Trump has said about letting this basically play out. And we know what that looks like in Trump's mind. So I don't know if he has that. It'd be interesting to hear that.
Well, let's hear what Trump has to say on that. So, Dylan, if we can just get Trump's clip up and let our people listen to what Trump has been saying. And I don't think that, even if Trump gets elected or whoever gets elected, if Harris gets elected, they're not going to change policy. Okay, but let's take a quick listen to what Trump has to say.
Israel, Lebanon.
Yep.
Been bad, but they have to finish that. This has really been bad, but they have to finish that process. However it turns out, they have to finish the process. This is a little bit like two kids fighting in the schoolyard. Sometimes you have to just sort of let it go a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But that's really caused by a lack of respect for the United States of America.
Now, this is our former president, like 2 kids fighting, Maria.
Yeah.
This is crazy. So, Maria.
Yeah, go ahead, Maria.
Let's say what Maria has to say on this. I mean, 2 kids fighting in the playground. Are you nuts, Trump?
So I think this is a deliberate strategy that Trump has, and I think it actually has taken a hold of all his supporters, and that is that to minimize actually what the global scene is. The whole world understands it's much more complex. The whole world understands that it's not about the United States. It's not about disrespect to the United States. There's a regional conflict between 2 entities, and the world, in many parts of the world, has recognized it as a genocide. So I think we have to be responsible with the terms that we use and bring value to what the rest of the world is seeing, and not play kind of low-level propaganda like this. But I think I wanted to also respond to Marie's statement about the 85% of elected officials that are with AIPAC and tie it to the fact that it doesn't matter if it's Trump or Harris, they're not going to change their policy in this conflict. I think people also are starting to wake up to the reality that for many elected officials on both sides of the aisle, this is a one-issue election. People are starting to understand that it's a one-issue election. So, for the, this strategy that everybody who is, on one side or the other, just looking at what's happening in the conflict as a voter, the elected officials are also looking at what's happening as in the conflict as an elected official, and AIPAC's stance and their support of them makes this almost a one-issue election, and I think that to minimize that would be a disservice to the voters. And I think people need to understand the very little differences when it comes to the regional conflict between both parties.
Yep.
Very little differences.
There is no difference. I mean, they are both the legs of the same body, okay? And the brain is somewhere else. And that is something, folks, that should be of huge concern to us as Americans. Where are we headed with this regional conflict now getting into a full-blown war? And we also have Dr. Dilara Saeed on the phone with us. And Dilara, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Fahim. Good morning, Marie. And good morning to all the listeners.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. So we'll discuss a little bit about the Wadi Act and the resolution that was passed by the Senate as we go through later on in the show. We also have folks in the studio with us, a couple of very, very interesting people over here. We actually have an Elvis, or what is the plural of Elvis?
Well, thank you for asking. The rule is ETAs.
Hey, if you can just swing the mic that way, please.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Basically, what in the world of Elvis is we're Elvis tribute artists. We're not impersonators. Nobody can impersonate a guy as great as he was. So we like to prefer to be called as ETAs.
Okay. So I want you to do me a favor. Let's take a quick break. And during the break, Dylan, if you could make sure that our cameras are focused on everybody.
I don't know if we can focus on everybody, but we'll try.
Okay. Try that. So, folks, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Lightning strikes, my friend. Catch it in a bottle. Lightning strikes again.
Your voice matters more than ever. Are you registered to vote? If not, don't wait. Download the Vote IQ app today. Vote IQ gives you all the information you need on local and national offices, plus constant updates on the political news that affects you. It's easy, it's free, and it's your key to making informed decisions. Visit the Play Store or go online to www.app.voteiq.org. Your vote is your power. Make it count. Download the app now and ensure you make an informed decision at the polls.
Did you know there's an Illinois mandate that states by 2025, ComEd has to have 25% of the energy they deliver come from a green source? Because of this, plus the fees and taxes you've already paid on this program, if you qualify, you can get solar on your home at no out-of-pocket cost. This can mean an average savings on your electric bill of maybe 30 to 50%. More importantly, it would eliminate the uncertainty of ComEd raising your rates by whoever knows how much each year. Some people have noticed a 41% increase on their bill this spring, and ComEd has been asking for another 80% increase over the next 4 years. If your average bill is $200 a month now, maybe it could be reduced to $100 a month. Now, 5 years, would you rather pay $115 or possibly $400 to $500? If you'd like to see if you can qualify for this program, call Ken DeLuke at 312-617-8979. That's 312-617-8979. Help us save the environment and change that electric bill burden. That's 312-617-8979. Take advantage of this program while it's still available.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks, and welcome back to the Lightning Strike. We started off on a very fast pace today, but we're going to, as we go through the show, we're going to have some fun at the end with some Elvis tribute artists in the studio with us today. The Landon James and Rocky Fenner and their manager, Kevin Quinn. Look at that guy, smart-looking guy.
Hello, how are you?
Okay. These are going to be our persons of the week today. We don't have just one person, but we have got multiple persons. People with multiple personalities also.
Oh, sure.
But we'll bring them on. But let's go back to the Wadi Act that was passed recently. Maria Muzaffari here is an attorney, and she is the person who actually helped to write the legislation, right? So, Maria, let me ask you this: when you start to write something like this, where do you start? I mean, do you start with the local elected officials first before you go to Congress and the Senate? So, who did you approach in Springfield first?
Okay, first to answer your question, I write legislations first and then I approach the legislator. So that's where I start. And what we wanted to do is go to Wadi Al-Fayoumi's district first. So we actually approached Springfield and the state level to first have the resolution honoring Wadea and his Palestinian heritage in Springfield. And then we approached Congress.
Okay. So when you approached our local legislators, in Wadia's district, it is Senator McCappell. What was her response?
So I'll respond this way. Very quickly after his passing, we had heard that she was very sympathetic and empathetic to the situation. So we actually thought she would be a great sponsor. And we really appreciated that sincerity. And we reached out and gave her the language, but we have not seen any movement. And as you know, in Congress, it was introduced in the House and the Senate and passed in the Senate. So unfortunately, we didn't see any movement in Springfield at all.
Okay, so in Congress now, the local congresswoman is Lauren Underwood for that area. Okay. And did she take it and run with it in Congress first or not?
So I think this is very important for people to understand the average voter who's not inside the legislative process and who maybe doesn't work for an elected official. Is these conversations happen at a very basic level and private, and there's a process that should be understood as public, and that is that elected officials will look at all their positions before they obviously say yes to a legislation. And for us, we wanted Congresswoman Underwood to absolutely take Wadia's resolution in the House, but at that time we wanted to make sure that we include the word ceasefire in that resolution because the kids who are in Gaza were as equal as to Wadea. Mm-hmm. And that was not a position she was willing to move on, so we moved on to Congresswoman Ramirez.
Look at that, folks. Okay. So it is in her district, and she refuses to move on. Political considerations. Man, you guys are sent out there to represent the people, okay? We are paying your salaries. All of you Congress people. I mean, I keep on saying, Maria, and I said it the other day also, elections are coming, throw all these bumps out. Start off with a fresh slate. I mean, I'm sick and tired on both sides. it is considerations which are more political than humanitarian. How many people have to be killed before we start thinking humanitarian? Dilara, what was the role played by the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition in bringing this resolution to the Senate?
Thank you, Fahim. The Muslim Civic Coalition was the coordinator and the lead civic organization working on this resolution. We're excited that Maria Muzaffar is our lead legislative lead, and so she was able to help draft and work with the legislators. One of the key things, I hear your frustration and I hear your anger, but I also want us to understand relationship building is critical. When we vote for our elected officials, we vote to continue making sure that we have a relationship with them, to grow that relationship, right? And so this is what we say to our community. This is what we say to ourselves. Like, make sure you're not just going to vote, because the vote is the first step. Make sure after you vote, you continue keeping that relationship. And we have a relationship with Congresswoman Underwood, with Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, with Senator Dick Durbin. We were able to leverage each of those relationships as far as we could take them to make sure that the Wadea resolution passed unanimously in the Senate in the end.
Okay, so why is the Congress still dragging their feet? That is a question that I would like to ask all our local congressmen, from Raja Krishnamurthy to Brad Schneider to Sean Casten. Why are you sitting on your behinds, Congress people?
So, can I answer for them?
Please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, first of all, I want to second this notion about what Dilara stated, that we live in a reality. When we want advocacy and change, we have to see where all the elected officials sit, and we have to leverage those relationships. So Underwood did end up becoming a co-sponsor, and this is how this process works. But you have to ask what your asks are quite firmly, and that's how the process moves. But the resolution was introduced in the House with Congresswoman Ramirez, and it sat there. It's absolutely sat there. And in the meantime, there was a anti-Semitism legislation that flew through. And we all want to see a legislation that recognizes anti-Semitism, anti-Islamophobia, anti-black hate, every type of hate we want to see. But we will not understand and accept and communicate to communities that there's one community that's more significant than the other. That's not what Wadea is about. It's inclusive. It mentions the kafea the way it mentions the yarmulke. And we'd want the House to follow the Senate and Senator Durbin's leadership.
Okay, folks, and that is where we all come in. Okay, for you to be an informed voter, you have to become involved. You just can't wait and get all of these flyers in the mail and all these radio ads. And I'm so sick and tired, Marie, like I was telling you the other day, of negative advertising. Okay, if you want to run a positive campaign. Don't tell me how bad the other person is and what they did 30 years back. Okay, Judge John Anderson, for example, this guy, the scaring that he's running against John Anderson is digging into John Anderson's past. He had traffic tickets 30 years back. And this guy is sending out mailers saying, oh, this judge is bad. Come on, man. Karen, I would love to debate you one-on-one once this election is over. Let's get together. I know you're not going to get elected, so, I'm pretty sure that John is going to get elected, okay? Folks, go to the Vote IQ app and get to know the candidates that are running. So you can find links to all their social media, their websites, their positions on different things. App.VoteIQ. We'll take a quick break on that and come back on the other side of the break with more conversations on what is happening, especially with the Wadea Act and the Plainfield Community Day coming up next Sunday from 2 to 4 in Plainfield.
With your community and make a difference? Join us for the Plainfield Community Day on Sunday, October 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Settlers Park in Plainfield.
This special event, brought to you by Amman USA Inc., is a chance for our community to come together to honor the memory of 6-year-old Wadia Al-Fayumi and celebrate unity, compassion, and friendship.
Whether you're new to the area or a longtime resident, this is your opportunity to enjoy an afternoon of connection, camaraderie, and community spirit. All are welcome.
That's the Plainfield Community Day, Sunday, October 13th, 2 to 4 p.m. at Settlers Park in Plainfield. For more details, visit AmmanInc.org. Let's come together, build bridges, share compassion, and reject hate.
Sponsored by Amman USA Inc. Visit AmmanInc.org. We look forward to seeing you there.
Are you a business looking for the right talent or a job seeker searching for your dream career? Look no further than the Center for Strategic Solutions, your workforce solution experts. Our experienced team at the Center for Strategic Solutions is dedicated to connecting employers with top-tier talent and helping job seekers find opportunities that truly align with their goals. We're more than just consultants. We're your partners in success. Ready to take your workforce to the next level or land that ideal job? Contact the Center for Strategic Solutions today at 1-847-306-9274 or visit us online at www.cfssus.com. The Center for Strategic Solutions, your bridge to a brighter future in the Windy City. The number to call is 847-306-9274 or send an email to info@cfssus.com. That is info@cfssus.com.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. The number to call in is 773-763-9278 or WCPT. We've got Ken DeLuke on the line with us. We've got John Arena on the line and Dr. Dilara Saeed on the line. And time just flies. And we got Landon James and Rocky Fenner and Kevin Quinn in the studios with us. These are Elvis tribute artists, not impersonators. Nobody could impersonate the king, right? And maybe he's still alive, folks. He might just come back and sue you if you try to impersonate him.
Mister.
Okay. We'll come back with both of them. Man, I keep getting confused. With two Elvises in the studios, there are two LYs. Oh, now I got an Elvis glasses. Okay. So here you go. What else can you ask for? Okay. So continuing the conversation, John, our good friend, what is his name? J.D. Vance?
Yeah.
Okay. The couch potato keeps on banging into Kamala Harris, saying that she was the vice president and she did not do diddly squat as a vice president. And now he got schooled by somebody as to what basic civics are, right?
Yes, he did. Right after the debate.
Okay.
A gentleman named Marcus Johnson did all the work that needs to be done to explain the argument that the vice president for the last 3.5 years should have issued executive orders and passed laws and I don't know, where critical decisions.
Where do the Republicans find these gems to represent them, man? Remember I was saying that my daughter was telling me a couple of weeks back that the Republicans seem to be well educated and pretty wealthy people. Couldn't they find someone else to represent their party? Huh.
Well, I think they're educated in misinformation and abject lying. I think that's that's the challenge here. And I took a minute to just reference a particular document that defines the role of the vice president, and it's called the Constitution. It's been around for a good 250 years. Yeah, and anybody could have referenced. I think you could get. I'm sure Donald Trump will be selling a copy in gilded gold very soon. But in that document, it says he basically has two jobs, and officially, and one assumed. Mm-hmm. The assumed one is he has to have a heartbeat. So that's really the first thing.
Well, John, I'm sorry to interrupt, but in order to have a heartbeat, you got to have a heart, right?
Very well played, sir.
Okay.
And in the case of J.D. Vance, that there is no empiric evidence of that.
Yeah, no, there's no evidence.
The other thing he presides over the Senate when there is a 50-50 tie, as Kamala Harris has done many, many times, helping to pass quite a bit of, help to the American economy, like the Infrastructure Act and the CHIPS Act. And the other thing he's supposed to do is preside over the peaceful transition of power. And in the debate, J.D. Vance failed that one test, basically saying he was just looking to the future, while talking about all the things in the past that Kamala Harris hasn't done. And I don't know if Dylan has it ready, but the Marcus Johnson clip really says everything we need to say about this argument.
Here's a student now schooling this so-called vice presidential candidate. Folks, take a listen.
Make a quick point. Neither candidate on that stage talked about what executive action they're going to take on day one to do what they want, nor were they asked, because they know that they can't. That's not how the vice presidency works. You don't get to do what you want. You do what the president delegates you to do.
So here it is, folks. Okay, quite simply, I mean, this guy is trying to dump down on Harris, and I'm no big fan of Harris. Please don't get me wrong, okay? I think both parties, there should be a third party out there. For some reason, I don't know why such a big country like ours cannot come up with a viable third party. Hopefully, in the long run, we might have a viable third party.
It's called corporate PACs. That's why we don't have one. It's called corporate PACs.
Corporate PACs.
Yeah.
Corporate PACs, and that is something that we really need to work on. And again, get involved. Murray, what was the voter turnout in Cook County that you said in the last elections, or whatever, the primaries?
It was horrible. So in the last set of primaries we had, it was between 9 and 10%. And it typically in years prior, up until 2022, because 2022, I think it was only 11, but prior to that, it was 22%, which is not great. Mm-hmm. But 9% in the last primary. Good Lord.
And that's where the problem is, folks. The problem is not with our elected officials. The problem starts with us. And I think that is something that we need to take a deeper look at. Maria, you were going to say something.
Well, I was going to say, if there's anything that, you learn when you write legislations and work with elected officials, is that gaps need to be filled. And they're not filled by just great ideas coming out of one elected official's office. They're coming from people that are living in the communities, that are recognizing what needs to be fixed and having a process to advocate. So I think people don't realize how much impact and power they have to have substantive change. Once we understand that, once we don't buy the reality that we don't have that power, things shift.
Well, and here's the thing. In our school system, that is where we need to emphasize on civics and civic learning. I don't think that our schools are doing a great job of teaching civics to our students.
They're not doing the job at all. They haven't done that job for decades. It's crazy. That's like the most important thing that should be taught in schools, and they're not even addressing it.
Well, but that's where they start losing their power there again, Ken. Here's the issue, guys. We try to get this out every Sunday morning now on WCPT, and thank God for Progressive Talk Radio that allows us to have an opinion and express it, okay, without anybody coming in and saying, hey, you can't say that. Now, that is one of the reasons why we don't take any advertising on the show also, okay? We try to keep corporate advertisers out from here. If you'd like to support the show, please go to our website, tlschicago.com. You'll see a donate button over there. Throw us some money through that, through the radio station or whatever. And we'll continue to have these kinds of discussion. Now, coming back to what we were talking about, Maria, as a wrap-up now, let's go through the steps in order to make things happen at the legislative level. Where do we start? How do we proceed? What kind of role does an organization that like the Illinois Muslim Civic Coalition play, especially in this particular one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's now the Muslim Civic Coalition. It's a national organization. But I would say that at the end of the day, and a person that is a voter or a community member that recognizes within their community, whether it be in healthcare or criminal justice or schools or anything that they're seeing, approach your legislator. Approach your legislator and say, this is a problem that needs to be solved. And don't expect solutions from the legislator. Mm-hmm. There are experts in every industry, from tech to engineering to healthcare, in different communities that can work with you to come up with a solution. And when you walk into a legislator's office and say, we have a solution and we've written a legislation, take a look at this, let's partner with this. We need to start recognizing that community members are partners with our elected officials. You move forward, push that, meet with them, have them sponsor it, endorse it, and then have your community stand up and call in to make sure that it gets passed. Mm-hmm. And that's been the case for every legislation I've worked on, and specifically in Wadea's case, which is an American story, a American tragedy that everyone around the nation should know. Everyone should know Wadea Al-Fayoumi's name.
Yep, and when, the next day after the funeral of the little child, look at this, folks, brutally stabbed 26 times by a hate-crazed, his own landlord. The guy loved the kid. I mean, he used to bring him gifts and all of that, and suddenly he flips. And we are going to be addressing it, folks, this coming Sunday, October 13th in Plainfield. Try to come for the Plainfield Community Day, which is COMEYOUNITY. Let's get together. Let's break those barriers, build bridges, reject hate. And it's going to be a short program, about 2 hours in the Sunday, this next Sunday, 2 to 4 at the Settlers Park in Plainfield. By the way, no politics, no religion. It is about bringing the community together. We have had a number of elected officials reaching out and saying, hey, can I say a few words? No, you cannot. This is not a platform for you to push your agendas. I'm sorry, okay? You may be any elected official, but please come, be respectful. Just think about this little child, and his parents are still suffering. First anniversary is coming up. What do you think his mother is feeling?
Well, I will say this. If you want to see an American inspiration of bravery and dignity, that's Wadea Al-Fayoumi's mother. She was stabbed herself. And so for her to recognize that what a tragedy this is, but then understand that this could move this nation to recognize that words matter, political rhetoric matters. You stated that it was his neighbor. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do I doubt that he loved Wadea? I actually don't doubt he loved Wadea. I think he did before he flipped. But This is what political rhetoric, hate, and fear does. It makes you not see the humanity in the people that are the closest to you. And that's what's the most dangerous.
And that is something that we have to constantly be on guard, folks. Ken, John, again, thank you both for calling in. We're expecting Sheila to call in shortly to introduce our person of the week. And today we got persons of the week, but we're going to take a quick break. And if we could just get the Plainfield Community Day PSA out there. Dylan, thank you.
Your voice matters more than ever. Are you registered to vote? If not, don't wait. Download the Vote IQ app today. Vote IQ gives you all the information you need on local and national offices, plus constant updates on the political news that affects you. It's easy, it's free, and it's your key to making informed decisions. Visit the Play Store or go online to www.app.voteiq.org. Your vote is your power. Make it count. Download the app now and ensure you make an informed decision at the polls.
Hey, looking for a way to connect with your community and make a difference? Join us for the Plainfield Community Day on Sunday, October 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Settlers Park in Plainfield.
This special event, brought to you by Aman USA Inc., is a chance for our community to come together to honor the memory of 6-year-old Wadea Al-Fayyoumi and celebrate unity, compassion, and friendship.
Whether you're new to the area or a longtime resident, this is your opportunity to enjoy an afternoon of connection, camaraderie, and community spirit. All are welcome.
That's the Plainfield Community Day, Sunday, October 13th, 2 to 4 p.m. at Settlers Park in Plainfield. For more details, visit amaninc.org. Let's come together, build bridges, share compassion, and reject hate.
Sponsored by Aman USA Inc. Visit amaninc.org. We look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. Our website is tlschicago.com. You can also catch us on our YouTube channel. So go to YouTube, and look for TLS Chicago. And you can catch us over there, and you can catch us live on Facebook every Sunday from 9 to 10 on WCPT's Facebook page, and also the TLS Chicago webpage. We got some great people in the studios with us today, and to introduce them, we got our segment producer for our Person of the Week, Sheila White, joining us. Sheila, good morning.
Good morning, Mohammed and Maria and team. You know, Mohammed, at the end of the day, Elvis tribute artists, they love what they do. They love Elvis, and they love giving fans the most authentic Elvis performance possible. We want to welcome our Elvis tribute artist today in studio with us, Rocky Beamer, and guests. Welcome to the Lightning Strike, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we got Landon James, Rocky Fenner, and their manager Kevin Quinn in the red shirt, looking so dapper. So, guys, what does an Elvis tribute artist mean compared to an Elvis impersonator? Because I keep hearing this Elvis impersonator term.
Yeah, no, usually a lot of people will hear Elvis impersonator, and Elvis impersonator is kind of someone who thinks they're actually really Elvis,
Okay.
But tribute is more of a respectful term, because we're doing it for him and to make people happy, so that's why we do what we do, me and Rocky.
We don't see ourselves as impersonators. We're simply just a tribute to a person that we have great admire for.
So how did you guys get started now, being an ETA?
Well, for me, it was the sitcom Full House with John Stamos, and he was Uncle Jesse. My mom and dad are into, they're into Poison, Bret Michaels, rock and roll and stuff, but I got an Elvis, and they loved it and supported me, and for the past 3 years, I've been doing live shows in the Chicagoland area.
Hey, Rocky, how did you get started?
For me, it was my father. I truly think he thought he was Elvis. So that's it.
How do you know he wasn't?
He could have. I wish to be determined, but
okay. Man, Graceland could be yours. Think about it.
He was a real fan. He wore his hair out. I just remember him just being like Elvis growing up as a child.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what's your favorite Elvis song now?
Go ahead. That's a. I think that might be an impossible question, right, guys?
Yeah. There's for every Elvis fan, they usually have a bunch of favorite songs, but mine would probably be Unchained Melody, which was originally done by the Righteous Brothers. Then Elvis did it.
I saw you walk in with your guitar. What happened to your guitar? Where is it, man?
It's over there. You want me to do one?
Yeah. Can you do that, please?
Yeah, we'll do it for sure.
Okay, so folks, we do like to have fun also with our life, and life is, these guys are also promising to come next Sunday, but I'll have to talk with the boss and see if we can do it. Okay, so here's Landon James live on WCPT with his favorite song. I'm going to put my glasses on.
Several lonely days and 12 times ago, I reached out one night and you were gone. Don't know why you would run, what you run to or from. All I know is I want to bring you home. So I'm walking in the rain, thumbing for a ride on a slowly Kentucky back road. I loved you much too long. My love's too strong to let you go, never knowing what went wrong. Kentucky rain keeps pouring down. And of the heads in the third town that I'll be walking through, and the rain in my shoes, searching for you in a cold Kentucky rain, in the cold Kentucky rain.
Where people come from.
Okay, that was superb. That was superb, guys. So, are you guys going to be performing at the Tinley Park Elvis Festival on May 24th next year?
Yes, it's next year on May 24th. I'm at the Tinley Park American Legion. I'm performing with a popular Elvis tribute band called the Change of Habit Band, also featuring Fred Cantu with his horns. They actually performed with Selena back in the day, so it's going to be a very big event and a great time.
So how many states have you performed in?
I performed in Wisconsin, I performed in Indiana, I performed at the tent, which they have every year in Memphis for Elvis Week, so I was just there.
So, Kevin, how did you get involved in this, man? What do you do as a manager? You just get a piece of the action at the end of the show, or?
Well, I seen him online, and I was like, wow, this guy is really good. And I noticed he was from Illinois, and he won in Tupelo. So I reached out to some venues to book him, and
it all happened.
Yeah, well, what about all those rings on your fingers? Where did that come from? Where is the bling coming from?
That's Landon.
Good answer.
Okay, so Rocky, what is your favorite song, man? Can you do a song for us, or are you just here for the looks?
I'm here for the looks, but I like to do a song, but I don't have any music, of course. But
okay.
But please go on my Facebook page. There's plenty of songs there you can see. As far as a favorite Elvis song, I think that might just be impossible for. I mean, Kentucky Rain, Brandon just did. Probably that's one of my mom's favorite songs, and we both have a favorite song. He always does for his mom. I always do for my mom.
Okay. So do you guys have any other performers, musicians that you like besides Elvis?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I grew up with Johnny Cash.
My
Waylon
favorite.
Jennings, all the...
my favorite, all time, man.
Yeah, and I'm now Landon. Go ahead, Landon. You have some...
I grew up with Josh Turner, country music, and then I got into a rock phase where I was in a heavy metal rock band singing AC/DC, Black Sabbath. Then I sang low Elvis songs. So it's a big change, you know.
And a big thank you to Sheila for bringing some great guests to us every week. Folks, if you want to be a guest on the show, if you would like to be featured as a person of the week, first off, you got to do something good, okay? If you are an elected official, sorry, we don't want you as a guest of the week, okay? Because you guys are not doing any good. I'm so sick and tired of all our elected officials. Okay, had to put that in. Sheila, thank you so much for bringing these guys in. Dylan, let's take a quick break and wrap up on our last 6 minutes. And I'd like for Marie and Maria to come back onto the mics so that we can wrap up the show. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Love you, Mom. Love you, Dad. Love you, Natalia. I got to say that.
Thank you,
okay. Yeah, otherwise you're not going to get it. Are you going to get it?
I had to do it. I had to try.
Your voice matters more than ever. Are you registered to vote? If not, don't wait. Download the Vote IQ app today. Vote IQ gives you all the information you need on local and national offices, plus constant updates on the political news that affects you. It's easy, it's free, and it's your key to making informed decisions. Visit the Play Store or go online to www.app.voteiq.org. Your vote is your power. Make it count. Download the app now and ensure you make an informed decision at the polls.
Hey, looking for a way to connect with your community and make a difference? Join us for the Plainfield Community Day on Sunday, October 13th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Settlers Park in Plainfield.
This special event, brought to you by Aman USA Inc., is a chance for our community to come together to honor the memory of 6-year-old Wadia Alfayumi and celebrate unity, compassion, and friendship.
Whether you're new to the area or a longtime resident, this is your opportunity to enjoy an afternoon of connection, camaraderie, and community spirit. All are welcome.
That's the Plainfield Community Day, Sunday, October 13th, 2 to 4 p.m. at Settlers Park in Plainfield. For more details, visit AmonInc.org. Let's come together, build bridges, share compassion, and reject hate.
Sponsored by Amon USA Inc. Visit AmonInc.org. We look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome back to the Lightning Strike with Mohammed Fahim.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the Lightning Strike. We are in the final stretch of our show. We got about 4 minutes to go. And you can always join us online, or you can text us 773-763-9278. Now, one of the few Congress people that I respect is Ro Khanna. Okay, just for the stands that he's taking for humanitarian causes. And Marie, I know that you have a fundraiser coming up for Ro Khanna. You want to talk a little bit about who he is and why are you doing this for him?
Yeah, Ro was a dear friend in Congress when I was in Congress from 2020 to 2022, and we agreed on a whole lot. Among those things, we worked hard for the small business community, for healthcare for all, getting corporate money out of politics. That was a number one role he and I had. But we also agreed on international issues such as the Middle East, certainly hotspots like Syria and Yemen, but very importantly around Israel and Palestine, and making sure that all people are safe, free, and prosperous, right? It's just a real basic principle. The second thing is he believes deeply in the Leahy laws. The Leahy laws are those laws where it states that if a country outside the U.S. that we are working with is committing war crimes, we cannot give them money, we cannot give them support. And right now, to be clear, Mr. Netanyahu is not following the Leahy laws at all. Therefore, he should not be receiving money or weapons from us.
And that is something that, folks, I want you to understand. Call your Congress people up, call your legislators up, and ask them, why are we doing this? I'd like to bring back Dr. Dilara Saeed to wrap up the talks that we were talking about, the connection between Wadi and our nation. And if you could please come back, Dr. Saeed, and walk us through and to the end of the show over here.
Yeah, thank you, Fahim, and thank you, Marie. Fahim, you had such an interesting, eclectic show. You had Elvis impersonation and tributes, and you had the Wadea bill. And I want to bring it all together. One of my favorite songs from Elvis Presley is Love Me Tender.
Oh, yeah.
And I want our community to listen to that today. It is a poignant song of love, of humanity. And I think sometimes we in our nation have to be pulled back to that. That is who we are as Americans and must continue to be for not just each other, but for the world. A place where people see love, growth, and humanity. I'm thinking about Emmett Till, another young Chicagoan, a teenager who went to the south of the country to visit relatives and was brutally tortured and murdered. His mother didn't allow for his casket to be closed. She said, leave it open. Let the world see what was done and let his death mean something. Wadea's mom this last year did the same thing. She held her baby in her arms while he was bleeding and dying. And she allowed us, Maria and our team, to say, we need to make a difference with this child's death. And the Wadea resolution protects all children, all families, regardless of their race, their religion, or their background. And this is what America, unfortunately, we learn from some of the most difficult times.
Dilara, thank you
history,
so much. We are coming up to the end of the hour. And folks, thank you for listening. And do tune in next week, 9 to 10, same time, same place.
The preceding program, The Lightning Strike, was sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests.